Hello, everyone. This is criminal profiler Pat Brown, and the news is a buzz. Yes, it is, because Richard Allen's defense team has come out with documents which state that these two girls, Libby and Abby, were ritualistically murdered by some Odinists. And if you don't know who those are, I'm going to get to that. It's a pagan group, and this is their new motive and the people behind the murders. And when I first heard this, my only phrase that came to mind is, have they gone full Oh, I can't say that. That's not allowed these days. But that's what popped into my head. And then I read a little further on what they were saying, and I realized what they were doing. And I'm going to point out three reasons why they're going this direction. So they're not totally full at all. They're calculating, in spite of the fact that, if you go with the Daily Mail and you read the article, the comments are hysterical. It seems like pretty much nobody buys this new motive in the people who supposedly killed the two girls. They're like, we're more likely to believe that squirrels did it than this stupid stuff. But hold your horses. There's a reason for what they're doing, and they've had some time to think about it, okay? So I'm going to give you three reasons. But before I do that, I'm going to read you a little bit of the article so that you can understand what I'm saying if you haven't heard this yet. I want to make sure that you get the details. All right. Attorneys for Delphi double homicide suspect Richard Allen says teenagers, Liberty German and Abigail Williams, were ritualistically sacrificed by members of a pagan. I'm going to try not to laugh when I read it, but it is funny. Okay, ritualistically sacrificed by members of a pagan Norse religion and white nationalist group called Odinism. Now, first of all, guys, you got that mixed up. Odinism and the white nationalist group that practices this version of it is called, what is it called? Let me get you the right name of what it's called. It's called, the white nationalists who supposedly practice this version it's called Watanism. And this is for the religion used by white supremacist David Lane. He chose the name because he used Wotan as an anagram for the will of the Aryan nation. In other words, a nutbag, all right? A nut job who made up some stuff. Okay, so he borrowed this sort of Norse ideology for his version of something or other. All right, so let's not conflate the two, okay? They're two different things. Okay, but all right. So anyway, members of a pagan Norse religion, because in Indiana, boy, there are a lot of these Odinists running around. You wouldn't believe it, but there they are. Who knew, All right. The newest twist in the case comes in a document dump on Monday morning from Allen's attorneys, who are asking the judge to throw out evidence collected during a search of his home, Allen's home, shortly before his arrest last year. They say the search was unconstitutional because police and prosecutors left out important information in their request for a search warrant. Among the most important omissions, they say, is the link to Odinism. The link to Odinism. Okay, so number one, you're going to see one of the reasons they're doing this is to try to throw out whatever they found in his house. They want to toss that so it cannot be used in court. All right, and you got to come up with a good reason to toss it. So this is their attempt at a good reason. And this really concerns me. One court document refers to an 85-page report by the FBI Behavioral Analysis Unit, which found the individuals responsible for the homicides were involved in Nordic beliefs. Oh, okay. I don't know what profiler from the FBI. First of all, I don't know how you come up with 85 pages of anything, but from the crime scene, he determined that this was a pagan sacrificial ritual of the supposed Nordic religion called Odinism. I don't know who you are, but if I were you, I'd go hide under a rock about now because you're giving profiling a really bad name. However, for the defense team, first of all, they're going to try to get things thrown out so they can't show up in court. And now, if this is in the documents, they may be able to use this in court. Think about this. Use this in court. Even if, especially if they can bring that FBI profiler in. Oh my God, it's an FBI profiler. And let me tell you, I'm an independent profiler, and I don't carry the weight of an FBI profiler just because I don't have FBI before criminal profiler. It's true. It's always been true. People doubt me. Oh, who are you? Blah, blah, blah. But the FBI profiler, hey, there are good FBI profilers, but a profiler is a profiler. Doesn't mean you're good at what you do or bad at what you do. It just means you are that, just like you're a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher. I don't know who this profiler is, but my God. But they may be able to use him, get him in court and in front of a jury. The jury people, I always call this 12 people off a bus stop who are not trained in this and who are willing to say, well, if an FBI profiler thinks this was a sacrificial crime by some paganists, I think it could be true. And all you need is 1 out of 12, and this guy walks. I think it's a brilliant move. So I have to put away my first inclination to go, you're gone full. No, you haven't. You've been sitting there for months thinking, what are we going to do? And I'm going to give you number 3 right here. First, they want to get rid of that they don't want to dump a lot of the stuff that came out of the search warrant. They want to make sure that doesn't get into court, the things they found in his home. 2, they have introduced the concept that this is not a serial killer, that this was not a sexual homicide. This was not a thrill for him. This was a pre-planned paganist sacrificial ritual. And if they can push that into the heads of the jury, they've done something smart. They really have. And I'm going to tell you the third one of why I think this is true. So what do I want to get rid of the information from the search so it can't go into court? And 2, they want to instill this idea even an FBI guy said that this is a ritual sacrifice. I'll get to 3 in a second. All right. So they go on to say, they say no evidence exists to link Allen to Odinism. So you see, if it's a ritual sacrifice by a bunch of Odinists, it can't be him because they got nothing that shows he's that kind of guy. That's not his thing. Or no other pagan religions or white nationalist groups. Because this is a sacrificial ritual done by Odinists, which they're conflating with white nationalism, which is the other one, the Wotanism or whatever the heck that crap is. Hey, it couldn't be him because he's not none of those things. He's none of those things. So you got to look, what you got to look for is some, what is it, Wotanist again? Maybe we'll get that straight. Wotan, I guess you call them Wotanists because they're into Wotanism. So they got to get some Wotanists, who are into that. All right. So meanwhile, the man has been living in hell in Westville Correctional Facility, where he's being held for security reasons ahead of his January trial. So, as we've reported, Allen's attorneys say his physical and mental health have deteriorated since his incarceration in Westville. Well, no one likes to be incarcerated. You thought you'd get away with it, that's usually why I don't like being incarcerated. And where he was moved shortly after his arrest in connection with the 2017 killings of Williams and German. Many Westville, okay, I'm going to control myself. I really am. No, I'm not. Many Westville guards are also members of the Odinite cult. Wow. I mean, I don't know. Is that part, when you apply to be a guard at a correctional facility, do they ask what your religion and you put in pagan, Odinite, Latinism? Is that what you do? They're part of the Odinite cult and have threatened, intimidated, and mentally abused Allen, his attorneys write in court documents. Okay, so why? I mean, I'm not quite sure I understand it. So do all these guards, you know, these pagan guards, they know who done did it, you see, and they're just mocking him? I'm sorry, I'm missing the logic here. All right. They argue crucial evidence at the crime scene near Deer Creek and the Monon High Bridge was also withheld. So you see, the police and prosecution weren't open about what evidence was really found there. And everybody's very excited about this evidence now. This is one of the things that came out in these documents. All right. They say, and of course, when defense attorneys say it, you should believe it. Okay. They say the ritual included runes. That's a thing like this. That's called a rune. Okay, let me show you some more runes, just so you know what the heck runes are. All right, so runes essentially are symbols. Now, here are some symbols from Odinism. You can see, let's see, the second one from the top is Odin and Odin's horn. So if you have that symbol, it means Odin's horn. You see that little runes thing in the middle where I showed that little sticky thing with the 3 prongs on it? That's just called runes. I don't know why. But anyway, over to the right, you see a solar cross. But most important is the runes. This, and I'm going to tell you why it's so important to the defense. Here's some more runes. Check these out. You see these runes? All right, here's the F. You see the F on the left? It's called Fehu or something like that. I think that's the quote F they're referring to. They say that F was painted on a tree nearby using German's blood. That's the supposed F. And that means wealth, which of course means nothing when you're talking about murdering people. And this rune, the one I have behind my head, is Alga's protection, defense. Well, I'm not sure what happened there with the protection and defense, but these sticks, you see. No, first we got the F painted on a nearby tree in blood, supposedly. And then these runes, which are described as. Now, when you look at the word described, that means whatever person is standing there thinking, oh, that looks like that. That's description, you see. And you got police detectives, officers on the scene, and they'll come up with anything, all right? Because they see something, well, maybe that has some meaning. They're described as sticks deliberately arranged on the girls' bodies. Well, I just went out to my yard, and I just found, look at this rune. Oh, look, it looks just like that rune. See oh my goodness, it's a stick. Yeah, okay. There it is. It's on my body now. So that's been, that has meaning, not just that some sticks were thrown around and the body fell and, oh, look, I found another one. I mean, they're so strange. They're just like every freaking where in a forest. All right. Okay. The court document also points to 4 people whom police have never named as possible suspects, possibly because they never thought they were suspects. Just because the police have to look at tons of people you call persons of interest, just because for whatever reasons they said weird things on the internet. They were in the area within 5-10 miles. You don't call them suspects. A suspect is someone you believe committed the crime or very likely committed the crime. Persons of interest there could be 60, 70, 80 persons of interest, just that you're going to look into them. They only had 4. Okay. 4 people whom police never named as possible suspects. News 18, that's where I'm getting this from, also isn't naming them because they haven't been arrested or charged with a crime. Thank you, News 18. We appreciate that. All right. However, an Odinite from Logansport, whose son reportedly dated Williams, allegedly posted images to social media that mimicked the crime scene. Okay, so now once this goes out on the internet, everybody and their brother and their son and every fruitcake out there goes on the internet and says stupid crap. At some point, his team's going to say that matches the crime scene. Okay, an Odinite. Another man from Rushville allegedly confessed to his sister about the killings. And then those nutcases exist everywhere. 2 more men, one also from Rushville and another from Delphi, are also involved, Allen's attorneys claim. Okay, so now are these 4 altogether? 4 Odinites, 4 Watanists, whatever you call them, white supremacists. They're all involved somehow. They knew the girls were going there that day, so they went there, waited for them, and then committed this satanic. No, they didn't call it satanic. They call it pagan. Okay, sorry, Satanist, paganist. Sorry, paganists too. I mean, most of them aren't actually doing sacrificial sacrifices of young girls in the forest. That usually isn't part of the things that they do. I think a lot of pagans will be highly upset with that. All right. The official investigation is, quote, an utter failure in pursuing the Odinist suspects because it's nonsense. In spite of powerful evidence of Odinites' involvements in the murders. Oh, what, that FBI profile who, I don't know, did he go on a drinking binge that night he wrote that crap? I don't know who the heck that was. Jeez. Whoever you are, come out from under the rock. I really want to know. Good Lord. And Carroll County Sheriff Tony Liggett declined to comment, citing a gag order in the case. And now, so they supposedly, this story came out, and originally they said the documents were out there, and then they were pulled back today, and so you can't access them anymore. So I can't access those. I can only access the news as anybody else. So let's look at the three things. I don't think I got to the third. First one is they want to get rid of everything that was found in the home. If they can somehow knock that stuff out, it can't be presented in court. It won't be evidence. Two, if they can convince people on the jury, just one of them, that this could be a ritualistic killing because some FBI person said so, some profiler said so, well then, that's all you need to do. Defense attorneys know you just need to convince one person. Mind you, the 12 people on a jury are 12 people out of the huge population, just 12 people, maybe 12 well-meaning people, but they're just 12 untrained people who are tossed into this situation. They're going to spend God knows how many hours in that. Oh my God. They're going to be there. This is going to be a long trial, and they're going to throw everything they can. It's going to be huge. And they're just going to get so tired and confused and bored and everything else. If you can just convince one of them, maybe there's reasonable doubt because that FBI profiler said this was a ritualistic crime, and that's not him. That's all you need. So I think that's brilliant. All right. First one, anything they can do to get rid of evidence that could be presented in court. Two, confuse the jury. Put that out there. Put it out there now so it can just basically foment and just it'll be in the minds of whoever shows up as a juror. And don't tell me, oh, I've heard nothing about the case. You lying dog. Every single person who's going to be part of that jury knows this case. So they've seen everything that's out there. They're so tainted, it's ridiculous. And the defense, now the prosecution is supposed to shut up, not supposed to say anything, but the defense can go out all over the internet, all over every television station, throw that crap out there to taint the jury, to taint their minds. That's what they do. That's how come I don't think it's a very good justice system, and I want professional jurors. All right, I'm not going to go into my soapbox here. All right, three, what's the really biggest reason they're doing this? Because their defense of him sucks. They haven't got a good one. I believe the defense believes it's him. I don't think they believe he's innocent. And when you've got somebody you think is guilty as heck, now you got a problem, because you can't, the concept of a proper defense is that a person who has been wrongly accused goes into court, and their attorneys can present evidence to counteract what the prosecution is saying, to prove that they did not do it, to prove they didn't do it. And then they're found not guilty because the evidence doesn't prove they did it. But that's not what happens in courtrooms today. What happens is the defense team if they believe their client's guilty as heck, they will do everything they can to confuse the jurors into acquitting him. That's their whole mission. That's it. It's not to get a fair trial. It's to confuse the jurors. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of people who are going to disagree with that, and they're saying that's our system, and it's an adversarial system, and the prosecution can't do their job. The defense has a right to throw anything they want at the wall, and if the prosecution can't fight it, and the jury believes the defense attorneys, well, so they do. That's the way we work. All right. You have your opinion, I have mine. All right. Be polite in comments below. But I did want to bring the three reasons. I'm not here to do the jury thing, but I have to explain it because that's what they're working with. All right. The three things. One, get rid of the evidence. So it doesn't go to court. 2, taint the jury's minds. And 3, do something because they think this guy probably is not innocent, and they got to do whatever they can. All right. So I wanted to bring that to you today. That's as much as I know right now. I think it's fascinating, and I'm kind of concerned because this is coming out of my head now. Does that have meaning? So I leave you with this. The sticks in a forest, who knew? Anyway, thank you for being here. If you have never come to my channel before and would like to know more about all the cases that I do, please do subscribe to the channel. Please do like the video. This is an educational channel, and please hit the bell so you get notifications of anything new coming in, and check the playlist, because I've been out here 2 years now, and I've probably done 100 different really, some of them are well-known cases, some of them are not, and I analyze these cases to help people understand profiling and crime scene analysis. So check that out, and I thank you for being here, and we'll see what happens. Gosh knows what'll happen in the future. Bye.